Thanks for tuning in to Iron Spring Outdoors. Wanted to do a kind of a short gear review video for you guys. Kind of let you know my experience with some things, and I want to talk about breathable waders and some gloves. So I'm going to start with the oldest and my first pair of breathable waders that I purchased. That would be these Rogers Tough Man 2-in-1. They've got the zip out liner on the inside of them. I have to say overall these were really good waders. These waders were less than $200 when I bought them on sale. They've got reinforcement in the seat, reinforcements around the knees, and ultimately I used these waders for 5 seasons, 5 years before they finally started to leak. And they started leaking in the great problem area for breathable waders, where the boot meets the fabric. Other than the leaking, I can't complain. The waders were less than $200. So I bought these in 2017. I used them until 2022. 2022 when they started to leak. So then at the end of 2022, Rogers actually had a sale going on, but they had a sale for Drake waders, and so that's the next set of breathable waders that I purchased were the Drake Equator. These have the sewn-in liner. It doesn't have the removable liner. So I purchased these December of 2022, and they were a little less than $300 on sale. I think they were like $250 something. I had high hopes for these waders. I really only got, I used them maybe once in 2022, because like I said, I purchased it December of 22. And then I used it the next year of 23, and about halfway through the 2023 season, these started to leak. And if you probably guessed it, they started leaking where the boot meets the fabric. So these, they're kind of like the Rogers, and they've got the extra reinforcement in the seat. They have the extra reinforcement in the knees. And they've got Drake's specialized boot, 1200 thinsulate. The Rogers were also 1200, but it doesn't matter how much insulation it has. If it leaks and you get wet, you're not going to stay warm. So these I had high hopes for. You may think different, but I think if a sub $200 pair of waders lasts 5 years, then a more expensive wader should last just as long, really, or longer. I think my biggest disappointment with these were the fact that when I got into digging with warranty, they were not covered under Drake's warranty. So I've got a pair of waders that ultimately only had about a half a season's use out of it. And they started leaking. And as the saying goes, I was up the creek without a paddle, because Drake pretty much said it's not warrantable. Something to do with the year, I guess, because of 22, it was part of last year's stock and the time period and stuff. It's been some time back, but anyway, they wouldn't warranty it. So after that, so I purchased them in 22, started leaking in 23. I did some research trying to find a better wader, and went with the high and dry. The The high and dry I've used when they come in the latter end of 23. I've used them the season of 24. And then this year being 25, I use them this year. And based on that, you could probably tell they haven't leaked. So far, they don't leak. High and dry is a little bit different. No insulation in the upper at all. So you'll need to have long johns on, or some wader pants, something to keep your upper from your ankles up warm, as well as your jacket, normal stuff like that. Now the boots are insulated. I can't remember what these are. Let's see. Thin Slate Ultra. But I haven't had any problems with these. One thing with high and dry, a little bit different than the other waders I've had. There's no extra reinforcement in the seat. And what reinforcement it has is in the knees. My only complaint that I would have with the high and dry, two things really. I wear a 32-inch inseam in my pants. They recommend going a little bit longer. Their regular waders are advertised at 35 inches, which falls into their recommended. I think they recommend 2 to 5 inches, something like that. But I do wish that I got the tall, which is 37-inch inseam. These aren't quite, they're a little bit more restrictive when I bend my leg. Not too bad when I go to sit down, but like walking, when I pick my leg up and they don't really, they kind of real tight around the knee and the front of the leg. Wish I'd have went with the tall version. I'm about 6'3", so if you're around that same height, where around the same inseam, you may want to get the tall version also. That's one of the complaints I had, and that's not really high and dry's fault, but it just comes from there's not really anywhere I could try them on here. I had to order them, and once I order them, I just stuck with it. The next thing would be, I'm not too wild about the D-rings. They're a little bit lower than on the Rogers or the Drake. So when I would wear the Rogers and the Drake, the ammo clip I would clip on with the neoprene ammo holder would sit kind of like right at my chest, like at the top of my stomach here. With the high and dry, they end up sitting lower, about middle of the stomach, which isn't a huge deal, other than you just don't have that extra, say 3-4 inches of give if you step in a hole or you're moving around. Your ammunition is more likely to get wet. I don't like how low it hangs. I wish it would hang a little bit taller. And then the D-rings, they'll twist. It's almost like they need a little bit of extra, maybe another seam sewn right here to keep them turning, because they'll just twist around, and next thing you know, you'll be hanging. And then that makes them the ammo hang that little bit longer too. That's really my only two complaints about the high and dry. If they continue to last, I mean, that's minor. The big thing is staying dry. Rogers Tough Man were less than $200. Drake's, I purchased them on sale. Like I said, I won't say around $250. These were not on sale. I paid the regular price on them. I think at the time was like $350. So these are also the most expensive set of breathable waders that I bought. And I expect them to last just as long or longer than the Rogers. This is going to be really my final pair where I try a particular name brand or a nicer breathable wader. If these start leaking, say this year or next year, then I'll probably end up just buying Rogers when they go on sale. I'll have $180, which I know prices are going up, might be more expensive then. Tied up in a pair of waders I can get 5 years out of, and then be fine with that. So that's my experience with the Drake, the Rogers, the high and dry. Boot fitment on the high and dry, I like. They fit a little bit more true to size versus the Rogers Toughman and the Drake. The Drake wouldn't be like falling off loose, but I would wear a pair of thicker wool socks just to fill it in and make the boot fit better. Same with the Rogers Toughman. The thing that I like about the Rogers Toughman, not only the years that I've got of service I got out of it, but the fact that it has the zip-in insulation. So I can zip the insulation out. I can wear them early season, teal hunting and things of that nature. Or whenever it come later in the season, I could zip in the insulation. And then at that point, if it was real cold, I could do similar to the high and dry. I could wear a pair of wader pants under it with the insulation in the waders. I never had a problem staying warm in the Rogers Toughman. Drake's kept me warm, sometimes a little bit too warm because I couldn't zip the insulation out of it, just nature of the beast, because they're not the removable liner, but they started leaking. High and dry, no insulation, fine for early season, wear extra layers on it for late season, and you stay warm. And so far, no leaks. So I've got 5 years of service out of the Rogers. 1 season, I guess you could say, if you want to stretch that, out of the Drakes. Because I got them at the end of 22 and they started leaking about middle of 23. And then the high and dries I got at the end of 23. I used them throughout 24, so about a season and a half out of them. And then I'll be using them this year. I wore the high and dries when we went to Missouri last year. The time we went to Missouri, they got a lot of rain, ton of rain, and the pit blinds were flooded, which the guide got it mostly pumped out. But I didn't have any problems standing in water with the high and dry, walking across flooded fields, the high and dry, or down muddy roads. Didn't have any issues with that. So far, they've been pretty good. Time will tell. The bar to reach is 5 seasons. If the Rogers Toughman is going to last 5 seasons, I expect the high and dry. I expect the Drake to last 5 seasons. That didn't happen with the Drake. Jury's still out on high and dry. So far, so good. Just wish I got them a little bit longer. The next thing I want to talk about with the waders, waders keep you dry, waders keep you warm, gloves keep you warm, and depending on the glove, your hands dry too. So started out with the Drake wind stopper. A lot of material left at the end of the finger. Couldn't feel like I wanted to. Wind stopper is not a good name for those gloves. Wind cuts right through them and my hands get cold. That's my experience with them. You may have different experience. Then I got the Sitka. Sitka glove is warmer than the Drakes. They do a better job at cutting the wind, but again, they're not the warmest glove. They didn't keep my hands very warm, and the fitment on them. I didn't care for the, they got material on the end of them. You can see there, probably got about a 1/2 inch I'm able to squeeze on my trigger finger. This is also my shell loading hand, so I didn't care for that too much. That's probably, and like I said, they're not very warm, not to me. Good early season glove if they fit you better. Not a very good mid or late season glove. Then I ended up going and picking up a set of Orvis upland leather hunting gloves. These I really like for early season, and maybe that starting to get into mid season. They fit great. There's very little material at the end of the finger. I was going to show that here to you in just a minute. A little bit tougher to get on, but they fit better too. But you can see here, I mean, that's right, my finger's right at the end of it. So being able to operate a shotgun with these gloves is very easy. That's what they're designed for upland hunting. No complaints with these gloves. They're not a warm glove. They're not designed to be a warm glove. Very good for early season. I have used them in conjunction with the next glove I'm going to show you here. I got from Tom Beckbe, I believe is the name of them. Leather hunting glove. They are insulated. They don't fit quite as tight as the Orvis do, but that's probably got to do more with them being insulated. So my finger is still at the end of it, right at the seam. That's the only space there. But they're just thicker, they're heavier, and just can't feel as good with it, but they keep me warm. I have in the past used the thicker insulated gloves, these gloves, on my left hand where I was holding my shotgun, and used the right-handed Orvis, kept it in the chest pocket or in the side pocket, and that would keep it warm. And I would have the thicker glove to be able to load and operate my shotgun like I wanted to, but also had the thicker glove to keep my hand that was outside of the pocket warm at all times. I like these gloves. These are more expensive gloves. I want to say the Orvis was around 60 bucks. Got them on sale. The Tom, I reckon you said Tom Beckbe. They were more expensive. They were, I think 100 is what I got them on sale for, is $100. But I like them. You can see that one's starting to kind of show some wear from the operating the tiller handle on the boat. They keep my hands warm riding down the river. They keep my hands warm operating the boat. I've got no complaints with these two gloves here. Then the final pair of gloves I got, nothing too special, Blue Mountain gloves from Tractor Supply. I think they were 15 bucks, 20 bucks, something like that. They're real thick. They're real loose fitting. They're kind of like a glove within a glove because they've got a waterproof liner in them. I mean, you can see how much material we have at the end of it. But these gloves work really good for operating the boat if it's just bitterly cold, and also picking up decoys. They do really well for picking up decoys. They've got the rubber grip in the palm and the reinforcement in the webbing of the thumb and the finger. And if I mess these up, I've replaced a $20 pair of gloves. Like I said, I use these leather gloves for operating the boat, but I don't really use them for picking up decoys or wrapping that string around the weights. I treat these a little bit better. They're more expensive, and I like the way they fit my hand, so I try to make them last. So that's the video I got for you guys today. I had some time today to do it. The main thing I want to talk about was the waders, but wanted to also kind of give you my experience with some gloves. If you'd like, you can comment, tell me your experience with some of the breathable waders that you've had. I've been really impressed with the Rogers. Rogers has set the bar for me when it comes to other breathable waders. If a sub $200 pair of waders with a zip out liner is going to last 5 years, then I expect that pretty much out of any other wader. Now, maybe that's an unrealistic expectation. Maybe they don't last that long now, but that's what I expect out of them. I've got that out of those. I expect it out of the rest. Disappointed with the drakes. End of one season, beginning of another season, started leaking. No warranty help from them. Fell within that year range where there was no warranty. and I can't remember what the detail was. I called them and looked it up anyway. They told me there was no warranty coverage on that. And then now the high and dry, so far so good, but time will tell. I want to get at least 5 years out of them, and when I do replace them, if they last like I expect them to, and I go back with the high and dry, I'll be getting the tall version. I want a little bit more longer length in my legs, and just something to be aware of if you're considering purchasing the high and dry. So that's all I got from you guys from today. If you like this kind of content, just like and subscribe. Haven't been doing much here lately with life and everything, and it's not duck season too, so that's the main thing. I do fish and stuff from time to time, but really out pretty much every weekend when it comes to duck season, and that's the videos and stuff I've been posting for you guys earlier on the channel. And when the season comes back, we'll be posting them again this year. But thanks for tuning in.